I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I lives in a garbage can. I eat the worms and I spit out the germs. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Doot doot. Bizarre Brain Comics. Well, hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Well, this time we're going to look at something a little unusual. Yes, this is from Ocean Comics, Popeye #1. Born to the Sea. The incredible origin issue. This is from 1987. Ocean Comics, as I said. And this is written by Ron Fortier, with pencils by Ben Dunn and inks by Bill Pearson. Now, for those of you who don't know, Popeye, I don't know why you wouldn't in this, but Popeye is a fictional comic strip character who first appeared in the Thimble Theater comic strip in 1929. You remember that. I know most of you probably don't remember him from the comic strip. Most of you. He was a latecomer to the strip, which focused on the Oil family. He was created by E.C. Segar and soon became the central character of the strip, becoming very popular. And Popeye was a one-eyed sailor with poor English who became superhumanly strong when eating his spinach, and is frequently involved in violent brawls. Today, Popeye is best known for the many animated iterations, primarily the Fleischer shorts of the 1940s, and including several TV series, as well as the live-action 1980 film starring Robin Williams, which was amazing, but it wasn't very good, but it had its moments, and it was very well made and performed. But it had its moments, but overall wasn't very good. And is acknowledged from Robin Williams on down that it was not very good. But it's still fun to watch. So, here we have Popeye. This is not like the Popeye that we know and love from either the cartoons or the comic strips. And as I said, it was written by Ron Fortier, as some of the characters here, Poop Deck, Brutus, Dan O'Mite, Roxy. She's not in this one at all. I think she's in the second issue. To my knowledge, there were only two issues. Wimpy and what a snozzle, who's a scientist. Okay. So, and the title of the story is Born to the Sea. It is the origin of Popeye. And here is this, basically in the shadow of this lighthouse, and it is a boat in the shallows in the midst of a horrible storm, and at the helm is Poop Deck, Captain Poop Deck Kid. You know, like the pirate, Captain Kidd, and that's him right there. But he's not alone on this junky little boat. There's his wife. I don't think they ever give her name. Anyway, and she is a big, strong lady. She used to be as we can see in stuff in the background, has the wedding picture and a poster for when she used to be in the roller derby. And she is pregnant, very pregnant. So pregnant, in fact, she's in the middle of labor. and Poop Deck is elated. He's about to become a papa. And in the midst of the storm, the boat crashes on the rocks. As the baby is being born, He's elated. He picks up his son. A son! I've got a real life kid. Yeah, kid. I like. Oh no, he's ugly. He's actually a cute little sucker. Ugly? My baby is ugly? Oh. Well, and it turns out that Poop Dick winds up taking care of the baby in the house and all this other stuff, and Mama doesn't pay much attention. And here we can faintly see she's smoking a corncob pipe. And eventually Poop Dick, he just takes off, abandons his wife and baby, and the wife doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to feed him, so she starts feeding him spinach. And so he just basically lives on spinach while she's watching roller derby on the TV. And then at school, he gets teased and gets into fights a lot, and he just beats the crap out of everybody all the time. And the girls are just going gaga over Ugly Kid. That's his name, Ugly Kid, because that's the name that his pap gave him. Well, finally his mama, she says she's going off somewhere in the third world to bring roller derby to him. And his mother takes off, leaving him alone. And then when he gets out of high school, he's in amongst the fight, all the fighting. He gets hit so hard, one of his eyes remains in a permanent squint. And here he sees a recruitment poster for the Navy, so he joins the Navy and gets sent to Japan, to the USS Chester, stationed in Japan. When he gets there, he makes a friend here, Dan O'Might, and this is when he first meets Wimpy. Wimpy is a central character, one of the central characters from the Thimble Theater comic strip. But this is when they first meet and become friends. And this is where he first meets Brutus. And Brutus is a big bully. He defends, Popeye defends Wimpy from Brutus. And pow! Wallops him a good one. And makes an enemy for life. And Brutus wants to get back at him. And they have another bout of words, but he remembers getting punched by Popeye and doesn't want that experience again. So instead, challenges him to a boat race. It's a sailing boat race, and Wimpy's not too sure how well this is going to go because he's a good navigator, and Wimpy goes on the boat with him while Brutus has a second as well. They are getting set, and they take off. Boom! And before they get too far, oh no! The mast on Popeye's boat snaps right in two, and then they see that it had been sawn through. So Brutus had sabotaged him. I said, well, don't know what to do now. And he sees this passing whale who's being pursued by a Japanese whaling ship. They just miss him with that harpoon gun. Well, Popeye likes whales. He's angry, so he takes off, swimming like a torpedo, and kablooey goes right through the hull of the ship, sinking the whaler. And the whale is so grateful, becomes friends. And then just as Brutus is about to win the race, here comes Popeye being towed by the whale, and Popeye wins the race. And Brutus, of course he's not happy, and he swears vengeance against Popeye. But that's not all. Turns out the boat, the whaling ship, was an illegal whaler and belonged to a criminal organization. Here's the captain of that boat, of that ship, coming to see the big boss, the Dragging Lady. That's not the Dragon Lady like in Terry and the Pirates, but the Dragging Lady. So they get into the headquarters, and no, here we see some torture going on. This guy's being tortured with feathers. And then they meet the Dragging Lady, and you can see why she's called the Dragging Lady. She is bigger than a hippo, and probably can't get up out of her lounging bed, whatever, and informs him about the this has a lot of sight and verbal gags, which I'm kind of just passing over, and tells him about how they were sunk by Popeye, and she is not happy. She wants vengeance, so she gets some of her men to take out Popeye. So Popeye and Wimpy are out on liberty in Tokyo, and you can see it's Tokyo, and they have a lot of little ads and stuff in the background, you know, like they do, and some goons going to take out Popeye, like going to throw a knife at him, and he ducks. The knife hits and slices through a length of rope, which drops something on an awning on the guys before they so then the next thing we see of them, they failed, so they are chained up to the wall in the dragging lady's palace, and they're standing barefoot on blocks of ice. And meanwhile, there's so they come up with another plan. They're luring Popeye into a trap with a note from Wimpy. He gets to the place, but here we notice something odd. Where is it? Here Popeye is. See, he just got in the Navy at the early part in the story, but here he already is a third-class petty officer that's been in the Navy at least 12 years, has hash marks on his sleeve. But then here he is when he's going into the trap. We don't know what he is, a bosun, probably a bosun mate, because it doesn't show that on his crow. And here he is with the crow on his sleeve of a second-class petty officer. So he's surely going up there. But how did he get 9 years. I'm sorry, 9 years. 4? No, that's right, 12 years. For one hash mark for each enlistment. Okay, for each 4 years. I had one hash mark on mine uniform. Anyway, so here he is as a second class officer. Goes into the trap, and there we see all these heavily armed goons and Wimpy in the middle, tied to a chair. He goes, "How's there, fellas? Hey, Wimpy, I can't hear ya with that rag in your mouth." Well, Wimpy and they yell, "Get him!" Just then, Wimpy knocks over the table with the only light, the lamp, knocks it over. Total blackness, and Popeye goes to town. And cops get there, and everyone's busted up, and Popeye says, "Shucks, somebody turned on the lights. I was just getting warmed up. This rumble's the purest fun I've ever had." So this gives, after Popeye is, he got a black eye on the other eye, come out of the hospital, get the bandages off, and he looks more like the Popeye, a little more like the Popeye we know and love. And this gives him the idea with his friends that he should become a professional fighter. So they set up some bouts, and here we have would be a montage with a variety of opponents, and whop whop, Popeye just going up the ladder, beating the crap out of all these other fighters. And Brutus, he sees this going on, and it gives him an idea. So, but Popeye and his buds, they're making money hand over fist. So the dragging lady, she wants to take advantage, sees this happening too. She hires O.G. What a Schnozzle, who's a scientist, to build this giant sumo robot to destroy Popeye. They get him in the ring, and here it is, the Steel Sumo versus Popeye. Well, Brutus is sabotaging Popeye when they have in his locker room. He replaces his spinach with cans of seaweed. You'd think he'd notice the difference in the taste, and so he eats a little bit of spinach before each bout. So there he is in the ring with the giant robot, and whap! Nothing going on, and this robot is beating the tar right out of Popeye. Oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? When suddenly the robot, one of the hydraulic lines ruptures and is pouring out fluid, which gets into Popeye's face and his mouth. And it turns out that the scientist, used an organic hydraulic fluid of his own design, which was based on spinach, which gives Popeye his strength, and he just destroys that robot. Pow! Go, yay, Popeye won. Brutus is unhappy. The dragging lady, of course, is unhappy. Popeye and his friends are all happy. And then we see, leaving the fight, a couple of sailors says, "You know that Popeye looks a lot like you, Poop Deck. You sure he ain't your long-lost young'un?" "Impossible. This Popeye is a handsome dude. Nothing at all like my boy. He was pure ugly." And of course, there's Poop Deck Pappy. And that's the end of this story. And I guess there was a second issue. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. So that is all I have to share with you this time with Popeye. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Oh, so please like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments down below. And remember, comics are art.